10 awesome facts about the Australian cattle dog. Everyone interested in this breed should know these 10 awesome facts about the Australian cattle dog. There are many interesting facts about the Australian cattle dog that owners know and love to share. Here is our list of the 10 most awesome facts about the Australian cattle dog. 1. Australian cattle dogs with black hair are also known as blue heelers. Australian cattle dogs originated in Australia. Well, that's crazy. Who didn't know that, right? But, not so fast. The Australian Shepherd is not from Australia. The Australian Shepherd originated in the United States. Just because it is in his name doesn't make it true. But, in the case of the Australian cattle dog, it is true, and it's an important fact on our list. The Australian cattle dog originated in New South Wales, Australia, in the 1800s. They were bred and developed by Thomas Simpson Hall in an effort to improve the usability of the dogs that were available at the time. Knowing that they originated in Australia, and knowing the harshness of life for those in the cattle business at the time, will help to understand some of their personality traits including toughness, tenacity, and bravery. 2. Australian cattle dogs are descendants of the wild dingo. No one really knows if the domesticated drover dogs wandered off and were accidentally bred by the wild dingo, these offspring then being used in the ongoing breeding program, or if Hall used a more calculated crossing method. How exactly it happened we may never know. We do know that the dogs being used as herders, those that were good at their job, were used in the breeding program to improve each successive generation. Eventually there became breeding trueness of both form and function until one could say that a true breed had developed. 3. As the name implies, Australian cattle dogs were bred and developed to herd and protect cattle. In the 1800s the Hall family owned vast acreage of land and increasingly large herds of cattle. They relied heavily on their dogs to move, maintain, and protect their cattle. Noreen Clark writing of the Hall family and their dogs. Need for them, herding dogs, became extreme during the 1830s. The phasing out of convict transportation foreshadowed labor shortage and the Halls would become increasingly dependent on their own family members, and particularly on their dogs, as their land holdings increased. That speaks of the early beginnings of the Australian cattle dog, almost 200 years ago. But, perhaps even more important to the Australian cattle dog breed was the many years of selecting, culling, and breeding by reputable owners dedicated not only to maintaining the integrity of the breed but also to improving it as much as possible. 4. Australian cattle dog puppies are born white. As they get a little older, the blue heeler puppy will start to get black hair growing in among the white hair. This is what gives the appearance of a blue color. Their blue will seem to be either lighter or darker depending on the amount of black hair that grows in. The red heeler puppy will have brown hair grow into white. 5. Adult Australian cattle dogs are either blue or red. That's why they are also known as blue heelers or red heelers. Colors that are acceptable as described by the breed associations are blue, blue speckle, blue mottle, and red speckle. 6. Australian cattle dog puppies are just the cutest darn things in the world. Enough said. 7. Australian cattle dogs are not descendants of the Dalmatian. This myth was first put forth by Robert Koleski, 1877 to 1961. Koleski was an author and early breeder who may have been the first to study the origin of the Australian cattle dog and was the first to use the name Hall's Heelers. In all of the sources that he cited in his research, there was no evidence of Dalmatian breeding. 8. Australian cattle dogs are extremely high energy and need a lot of exercises. Australian cattle dogs seem to be able to go all day. They are very sturdy and have a really good work ethic. It takes a lot to get them to finally relax and be quiet. If you are an owner of an Australian cattle dog, you will need to be able to devote a good deal of time to them, walking, playing, running, and training. 9. Australian cattle dogs are very athletic and excel at many doggy sports and activities. Australian cattle dogs are very athletic, high energy, easy to train, and can excel in many different sports and activities. Participating in sports with your dog is a good way for him to get physical exercise and mental stimulation. It is also a great way to build a bond between the two of you. Just a few that you might try are herding, agility, obedience, tracking or scent work, frisbee or disc, dock diving and /Schutzhund. 10. Australian cattle dogs are nicknamed Velcro dogs and for good reason. The Australian cattle dog is famous for choosing one person in his family as his favorite. He will choose to always be with that one special person as much as possible. That is not to say that he doesn't want to be with others, but, given the choice, he will feel more comfortable with his chosen one. If you like the video, then make sure to hit that like button. Also, if you want more dog training, guides, information, then make sure to subscribe to our channel. Let me know what you think of this video in the comments, and thank you for watching.